Two giant pandas, Yangguan and Chen Chen, are about to embark on an incredible journey. From a life of tranquility in the mountains of China to celebrity status at Edinburgh Zoo. It's not only a coup for the zoo, it's a significant boost for Britain's relations with China. But the zoo have never looked after a panda before, so the pressure's on.
They are potentially very valuable animals, and indeed they've got an insurance price tag of about £1 million sterling each.
With falling visitor numbers, the zoo is taking on huge debt in tough economic times. Success depends on creating a world-class attraction. To do that, the zoo's staff will have to learn how to pander to the panda's every need.
He likes the carrots, he likes bread.
He likes bread, okay.
Supply enough bamboo to satisfy a 16-hour-a-day feeding habit.
Well, that's how much bamboo a panda roughly eats in a day.
And find a way of safely transporting this precious cargo halfway across the world.
Quite nerve-wracking, actually.
We're quite nervous watching.
Hello. Where you going?
All in the hope that they will one day produce the most sought-after of all panda products, a baby. And play a crucial role in ensuring the survival of pandas in the wild. Edinburgh Zoo, Scotland's premier animal attraction, has hit hard times. Its collection of rare and endangered species no longer attracts the visitors it once did. Now, in the hope of doubling ticket sales, the zoo is putting its reputation on the line to present the ultimate animal exhibit. This is soon to be the new home of a breeding pair of giant pandas. The pandas are from the Sichuan mountains of China and a sanctuary known as Bifeng Sha. A feisty male called Yingguan, also known as Sunshine, and Chen Chen, a timid and shy female known as Sweetie, are 8 years old and were both born in captivity. These two pandas are about to become the most famous zoological couple in the world. The man soon to be responsible for the health of these most prized animals is vet Simon Girling.
So is this the kindergarten?
Yeah, this is the kindergarten.
Never having looked after pandas before, he's come to learn all he can from his counterpart, Professor Tang.
So panda is not only a symbol of China, but also a symbol of the world.
Yeah.
Most of the world people love panda.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it's one of the most iconically recognisable mammals anywhere in the world, really, a giant panda.
Yes.
This is Simon's first encounter with the two giant pandas soon to be in his charge.
So this is a very special panda winner. So sometimes the pandas outside will moving or climb on tree, but sometimes inside. Tian Tian,
So that's Tian
she's
Tian.
looking at us.
So she's...
Tian Tian. Tian Tian, normally is very beautiful,
Yes.
and the white, black color is very clean.
Very
but
clean.
today,
Today she's a bit dirty. She's a bit messy today.
little muddy.
Yeah, well, I guess the weather's
Yeah.
the weather's going to be.
Yes. Hey,
Hello
Yangguan.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello there.
How are you?
Come out for the morning. So he has pretty much all this area coming down
Yeah.
around here.
Hey.
Yes, he seems quite quite relaxed about it all, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He
it's
doesn't
very
seem
relaxed.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
seems very... You can see how the coloration on the back there where he sits, that's quite common, isn't it, really? That typical sort of pattern of coloration over the lower back where they sit in that sort of very laid back
Yeah.
fashion, which is so
Yeah.
peculiar to pandas.
Yangguan is one of over 80 pandas at Bifangsha, a sanctuary set up to protect pandas from extinction. At the last count, there were only around 1,600 giant pandas left in the wild. Bamboo habitat, crucial to their survival, has been destroyed by aggressive industrialization and massive population explosion in China. Determined to reverse the damage, the Chinese have become experts on breeding and rearing giant pandas in captivity. Their plan is working, with 300 babies born at Bifangsha so far. Professor Tang is hoping that the pandas destined for Scotland will produce a cub.
We hope. Tiantian and Yangguan.
Yeah. Well, this is it, you know. I mean, fingers crossed that would be a dream come true if they could both hit it off. Yeah, that would be lovely. I can't think actually of a panda being born in the UK. I cannot recall one such. I don't think there has been one. I mean, certainly, obviously not in Scotland. So that's going to be a hugely joyful thing, I'm sure. It will be. I mean, certainly within the zoo, we're going to be, you know, ecstatic about that if that happens. But it'll be a great day.
But the sex drive of captive pandas is notoriously low. Despite just 2 or 3 fertile days a year, they often prefer eating to procreating. If it doesn't happen naturally, the next step is artificial insemination. Less romantic perhaps, but much more effective. Almost half of panda pregnancies result in twins, but with milk for only one, the weaker is rejected. In the wild, those cubs would die. In captivity, they are rescued and hand-reared.
Probably the biggest challenge that we're likely to have is obviously actually getting the pandas to breed in the first instance, but that doesn't end there. We obviously have the challenge then of making sure that any infant born is healthy, and if we have twins, then we have the facility and have built in the facility to incubate and to hand rear the second infant, and certainly we've had lots of discussions with the Chinese here and Professor Tang about that. So we have a room dedicated in the Panda facility to do that. So I mean, hopefully, it's always easier with one infant, but if we get twins, yeah, you know, we have the capability to hand rear the second twin. It is potentially extremely exciting, and certainly it's going to be quite a nerve-wracking thing as well. You know, the responsibility of that is huge, and for our keepers and staff, there'll both be an awful lot of joy and excitement should that happen, but I should imagine an awful lot of sense of trepidation about it as well. But no, I mean, obviously that's what we're hoping for, and we'll have to wait and see whether or not we're successful.
Yangguan and Chen Chen have both bred before, so there's a good chance they will again. And that's what Edinburgh Zoo is counting on. Head of Conservation Ian Valentine is the mastermind behind the panda deal. He spent 5 years negotiating with the Chinese to secure 2 of the most coveted animals in the conservation world. It's a huge deal for the zoo, but it's also a controversial one. Some argue the money would be better spent elsewhere.
For those people who say, well, maybe we should just wave goodbye to giant pandas, they've had huge amounts of money spent into them. This is a species that's been on the planet for a very, very, very long time. It's done very well. It's thanks to man that they've had problems, but it's also going to be thanks to man that their future is going to be secure. So for me, they symbolise hope, not a species that we can wave goodbye to. And if we can't look after giant pandas, what can we look after?
Securing the giant pandas is not only important for the zoo, there are political and economic implications too. On the very day the panda contract was signed, a string of lucrative deals were agreed benefiting both countries. Pandas, it seems, could be our passport to prosperity.
I think this has been a real milestone in a growing relationship of immense significance for the future between the United Kingdom and China.
With so much at stake, the pressure's on to ensure the project's a success. The zoo needs to create a world-class enclosure on a budget, so decides to refurbish the old gorilla house. They're constructing a large walkway to give the visitor an uninterrupted view of the pandas, and adding a Chinese theme to the experience. Simon Jones has been gardener's manager at the zoo for 5 years. He'll have to create a panda paradise, guaranteed to impress the visitors as well as keep Chen Chen and Yang Guan happy.
What we would like the panda to be able to do is to traverse the enclosure. So basically, it will be able to climb up onto the logs at the back there, and then get up onto the biggest log and sit there and eat its bamboo on a nice sunny day if it so chooses to. Crucially, one of the things that we had to do for the enclosure is have the climbing structure high enough so that the panda can see the other panda over the walls. Because that's what they would get in the wild. They wouldn't see each other all the time, they wouldn't be able to see each other constantly, and they would get a snapshot of each other. And they only really come together to mate, so that's what we're trying to simulate here, is just that relationship where they can just get a snapshot of each other if they so choose.
Getting the enclosure right is not the only challenge. Scotland is hardly natural bamboo country, so sourcing enough of the stuff to feed the pandas is a big ask for Simon. A newspaper article highlighting their predicament provokes a big public response, and now Simon's visiting a house in Helensburgh to see if their bamboo crop measures up.
So just round to you. Hey, excellent, fantastic. Look at this, this will be some bamboo then. Good stuff. What I've got here is a fresh shoot, so this is this year's growth.
Yes.
And the interesting thing about bamboo is a little bit like bulbs, like onions.
Yes.
And before this comes from underground, all these little nodes in between, they're already fully developed, but they're all compressed into a tiny little space. To get their growth going, they just expand.
Expand. My
And that's all it
goodness,
is.
Expanding nodes.
Exactly. So what the pandas like is these wee fresh shoots. And it's very, very soft. See how easy I'm slicing through it? It's not hard at all. I am known in the park though to wander about the zoo in springtime and just eat all the new buds and trees and the new leaves. They're tastier than peas. Look how fresh that is. Lovely.
Pancakes for you.
No. Bamboo. If I like it, then a panda will absolutely love this. Okay, Mrs. Hood. This is roughly how much a panda eats in a day. In one day. It's about 25 stems, something like that. But and it will eat from the bottom to the top. The panda will definitely be a little bit more selective than what I just was. I just went in and chopped it all down.
Of course.
It will go in and choose the species, the stems it wants, depending on tenderness and all sorts of different things. So
Well,
it'll
it
be
won't take long to get rid of
No, it
that
certainly won't.
plantation.
Unfortunately, bamboo patches like this would be gobbled up in weeks. The search for a good Chinese takeaway continues. Looking after such iconic creatures is a huge undertaking. Edinburgh Zoo's head keeper Alison McLean has come to China for a month of intensive training. It's a golden opportunity to learn from the experts and to prove she is up to the challenge.
Pandas in the centre are used to humans being round about them. They have one keeper to every 2 pandas and they work exclusively with those pandas. So they get to know them as in the same way that your pet dog gets to know you. So, and obviously, you know, the keepers are round about them throughout the whole day. They feed them, they train them, they touch them, you know, they're with them all the time. So the pandas tend to respond, you know, in quite a positive way because everything the keepers do is positive towards them.
Alison is being trained to look after Chen Chen and Young Guan by keeper She Hao.
That's new fish. She studied from me. I will teach her everything. Yeah, and including how to feed, how to know the panda character, how to choose a bamboo, everything about panda.
In the ground?
Stand. You stand to simulate the nature bamboo in wild.
Oh, okay. So like it's...
And the panda will grab the stick.
I think feeding the pandas will be more labour intensive because we have to collect the bamboo, we have to bring it in, we have to sort through it, we have to put it out, we have to set it out in a way that is more naturalistic for the panda to feed from. Whereas anything else I look after, a carnivore, you tend to either just throw something in or scatter it about or something like that. Also with the pandas, they appear to get fed throughout the day, not just once. It's a continuous process, I think, with the pandas. You do one feed, you'll clean, then you'll do another feed, then you clean, then you do another feed, and then you clean. So it seems to be an all-day job, and then you put in a huge amount of bamboo in the evening for them to feed on overnight.
Pandas now eat bamboo because it's a simple thing for them to be able to get their hands on. They live in the bamboo forests. If I was sitting in a forest or an environment which had a ready supply of some kind of food, then I would choose to use that too. And that's exactly what pandas have done. Of course, there are some great points about that, in that you don't have to move far to get your food, but at the same time, because bamboo is not nutritionally valuable, you actually have to eat huge amounts and digest that and get your body to live off that. So it means that more time is spent eating rather than hunting.
It's vital that the panda's diet is carefully monitored. For a clearer picture of what's gone in, you need to examine what's come out.
I'm becoming an expert in panda food, but it comes in all different colours, but Scott was explaining to me that is dependent on what they've eaten. So this in the male's enclosure, fairly obviously, he's had some carrot, and the stuff that Scott calls a stick is the stems of the bamboo, and that comes through as kind of white woody stems. And then you've got like this kind of poop here. This means that he's been feeding on the leaf of the bamboo as well. Now, according to Scott, it's really important that we take note that he's feeding on both kinds, and I think Scott will then determine what he feeds to the individual panda dependent on whether they've had a lot of leaf or they've had a lot of stem. So, you know, he'll maybe say to me today, bring bamboo with a lot of leaf, or bring big sticks. So it changes from each feed.
Chan Chan and Yang Guan will eat enough bamboo to fill a double-decker bus every 12 months. That's fine if you live in the bamboo-rich mountains of China, but there's nowhere in Britain where that volume of bamboo can be found. It's a major headache for the zoo back in Edinburgh. Gardens manager Simon Jones still needs to find a bamboo source big enough to satisfy Chen Chen and Yang Guan's appetites. He thinks he's found a solution. He's heading to one of the biggest wholesale bamboo suppliers in Europe to see if they can meet their demands.
Hello, Rainer.
Hello.
Good to see you. Nice to see you, Simone. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
This enormous plantation already grows bamboo to supply the 3 other giant panda zoos in Europe.
To the panda, different species, different varieties will taste different. And this is because the bamboos have a huge range. You get certain species that are the fine-leaved ones, like this species here, that grow on the mountainsides. And it'll have different nutrients in the soil, different water content, therefore the plants will taste different. If you come further south in the mountain, you'll get into the more tropical regions, you'll get bigger broad-leaf species of bamboos, so they'll all taste different. Rainer, is this Phylostachys bezettia?
Yes. No,
this one's
that's
Spectabilis.
Spectabilis.
Ah, okay.
And the other one, the green one, is Phylostachys nuda.
Ah, okay. And this one, if I was to buy this in a normal plant, not cut, would that be good for in Scotland in the cold weather?
Yes, it's full winter hardy.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
The Dutch bamboo ticks all the boxes. Just one problem. It will cost £70,000 a year.
Not many people have this amount of bamboo in a field growing in this situation. It costs quite a lot of money for us to transport this, or for any zoo to transport this back to their own zoo.
With the arrival date looming, it's the only option.
You too. Hey.
Bamboo is their principal food source, but in the wild, pandas like Chen Chen would also forage for grubs and berries, so captive pandas must have their diet supplemented. The sanctuary has developed a special cake, packed full with all they need. A unique recipe made up of ground pulses, eggs and water make up this panda delicacy.
But the pandas really like panda cake, and there's an absolute definite that they will eat it. They don't get a huge amount of it. Young one will only get 1,800 grams a day, which is a tiny amount, maybe about half of one of these. And when you compare that to the size that he is, it's not much at all. And Chen Chen's only on 400 grams a day, so it's a very small amount for her. This is for like 77 pandas that they have in the base here. And I'm making it for 2 pandas. So realistically, I'll be making 2 cakes. So everything will be exactly the same, but just on a much, much smaller scale.
Vet Simon and Professor Tang are visiting the kindergarten at snack time.
Okay. Yeah.
Now then, how old are these?
1 year old.
1 year old. And how many do we have in here? Do we have
Oh, we have 16.
16.
Yeah.
16 in here.
Yeah.
Here, carrots are also on the menu.
Try to give a different food because he likes the carrots, he likes bread.
He likes bread, okay.
So different panda has a characteristic. Very cute. When you give the carrots, give the apple, oh, they're lovely.
This one's a bit of a messy eater, isn't he? He's got it all down his front. So he's having a whale of a time with that carrot. This wonderful grip, which almost looks as if they've got a thumb, but it's not their thumb, is it?
The monkey, the bear cannot hold it, but the panda can.
They can with this.
Just like our thumb.
Yes, I mean it's almost unique in that respect, isn't it?
Cubs like these in the past were born here at the breeding centre, where the birth could be closely supervised. But that wasn't ideal. Now, they're experimenting with a new approach. Remote cameras and microphones are installed in the outside enclosures so they can monitor the pregnant pandas from a distance, allowing for a more natural birthing process, simulating the wild. Today, they've spotted an exciting development. Feifei, one of their mature females, appears to be in labour.
Feifei is going to have a baby.
She's going to have the baby.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, soon, maybe.
It's an unexpected opportunity for Alison to see the new birthing approach at first hand. All the other babies at the sanctuary were born 2 months ago. Could it be possible that Feifei is only now going into labour after such an extended gestation?
Certainly seems to be something going on with her, most definitely. And everyone else is of the same opinion, so we just need to wait and see what happens.
If she is pregnant, it could be between 6 hours and 10 days before she gives birth. Since arriving in China, Alison and Simon have had very little time off. Only in the evenings is there a chance to explore the local city, Ya'an.
Nu. Ni hao.
Can we try? It's interesting because during the day it looks quite drab and quite industrialised, and then at night everything is lit up, everything is light, and it does transform.
Everybody's out with their children and they seem to stay out till like 10, 11 at night, and this is when it all happens in the evening, and I think it's because everybody works every single day. So the time when they go out shopping and go about what we would class as our daily business is the evenings. And they all seem to meet together and eat together and spend a lot of time together.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Forgetting the day job is not easy, with reminders of it everywhere.
Oh, look. Must have.
Oh, earmuffs.
Panda earmuffs. Panda slippers.
You can't get away from pandas, can you?
No.
It's just not possible in the Iron, is it?
It seems to be pandemonium.
The team are still monitoring Feifei, whose labour seems real enough. Birthing expert Professor Tang wants to see what's going on.
Wow, 春江还快了哈，一直挺好。And the Feifei is leaking the water and a lot of water come out, so the mother continuously leaking the water. It's getting down, right. The baby out.
撤了。
啥时间？The 57 minutes. 13:57. It's very fast.
The arrival is thrilling news.
好快哦！刚刚我们进来，真的值得一说一下就飙出来了。他们也很运气好。
Now Alison and Simon have come to savour the magic of a panda birth.
Hello, Mr. Strong.
It's baby in her arm. Yeah.
She's got it where?
In her hair.
Under her arm.
Yeah, under her arm.
She's very, very maternal, very, caring, immediately picking the infant up and cradling it. So she's obviously a very good mother.
Yeah, mother,
good mother, yeah.
If they're lucky, this time next year, Alison and Simon could be watching Chen Chen giving birth to a precious panda cub of her own. If that happened, it would instantly elevate the zoo to world-class status. For now, though, there's work to be done readying the panda enclosure. Giant glass panels are being installed for the best viewing experience possible.
Watch the top bit.
And exotic plants will help create an environment that mimics the one back in China.
Stop there, stop. Right. Yep, that's fine.
Despite all the activity, no one yet knows when the pandas will be arriving. Back in China, Chen Chen and Yang Guan are now in quarantine in preparation for their departure.
It will be a wee bit of an upheaval for them, of course it will. They're moving house, and moving house is stressful. But you know, we'll do everything we can to make the journey as easy as we possibly can, and they'll settle right down. I'm kind of sad to leave though. I love it here, it's beautiful. It's such a nice area, everywhere you turn there's pandas. But yeah, I need to get the pandas back to Edinburgh.
The task of moving two of the world's most valuable creatures halfway across the planet falls on the shoulders of Darren McGarry. As the head of animals, he has supervised the transportation of all the zoo's newest residents.
Yeah, so these bears here are very similar to how the pandas are going to be for the transport, because they're obviously a bear, so they're very, very similar. They came to the zoo about a year or so ago, and they went into transport crates. They came from Cambodia, and then they arrived here. They flew over to the zoo, and we brought them into the house here, offloaded them into the house. They had to do a 6-month rabies quarantine period, and they're a really popular animal because lots of people like to come and see bears. You know, they're very active. So we're probably gauging a lot on what the pandas are going to be like from what we did when we organised this transport of these sun bears here. Okay, so we're going to have a look at these koalas. These are another species that have their challenges when you're organising the transport of them. That's their crates up there that they come in. The good thing about koalas is they're so delicate that they actually get VIP treatment when you're organising to move them. They're not like any other animal. They're treated very, very differently. So you'll see one of our koalas here. And the way that they're treated differently is because they're so special, they're really, really delicate, that they actually get to sit in the cabin of the aeroplane. So they get allocated a seat and everything. So you get full VIP treatment.
The pandas may not have their own seats, but there's no question of their VIP status. They're going to be FedExed in their very own panda plane. Transporting such precious cargo is a complex business. It will require a specially chartered Boeing 777 to jet them off to their distant destination, far away from home. The panda's natural habitat is the wild bamboo mountains of central China. They once thrived here, but now there are only around 1,600 left. But that's all about to change. Hidden away in these mountains, a quiet revolution is underway to reverse their decline. At the heart of it is Wolong, the sister sanctuary to Bifangsha, which was once the home to over 60 pandas. It's a panda paradise. Or at least it was, until a massive earthquake hit in 2008 and devastated the panda base. They could have lost 75% of the captive panda population, but miraculously, almost all of them survived. Now, they are rebuilding the sanctuary to play a key role in their new master plan. They're keeping pregnant pandas here and training them to be less dependent on humans. Their cubs will then eventually be released into the wild, never having had human contact, vastly increasing their chances of survival. The Chinese have kept this program of releasing back into the wild low profile until now. Alison is taking the long, grueling journey through the earthquake zone, having been granted special permission to go to Wulong.
Really exciting. It's very bumpy as well.
She is one of the very few to be allowed to see the full extent of the groundbreaking project.
How many pandas do you have here?
8. 4 babies, 4 moms.
4 babies, 4 moms.
Mr. Wu has worked at the sanctuary since before the earthquake. His team is experimenting with some new ideas. A cunning disguise keeps baby pandas in blissful ignorance of the humans in their midst.
Because we have to go in enclosure.
Right.
Yeah, so because the baby is in the enclosure.
Okay, so you don't want the baby to know.
Right.
That's
What?
key.
Because we don't want to be friends with babies.
Okay, so you don't want the baby
Yeah.
to recognise
Yeah.
human beings. And you would wear this only when there's the baby here?
No, when we clean the enclosures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has the baby ever came down to see him in the suit?
No. We don't want to bother them.
No, you want to just leave them to live
Yeah, sure.
as wild.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now for the most fiendish disguise of all.
So this is the panda suit for when you have to go in and
Right.
do something with the babies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, we do this just for the chicken babies.
for health check.
Yeah.
For them, it's okay that you go in because you look like their mother.
yeah, that's why. Exactly. We don't want the baby know the human, especially the keepers.
Yeah. The last bit. You want to put?
Sure.
If we were raising a baby, there's a lot of options open to us, and obviously the guys here for the pre-release training wear a panda suit so that the panda baby never ever sees a human being, and it's a really good way to work around things. You don't want the panda to become habituated to humans. You want it to know and to think it is a panda. And yeah, it's one of the options is to wear a suit. And I mean, again, one of the things we've learned here is that from a very young age, mum leaves the baby alone. And at the moment, some of the babies that are here only come to her for milk and then they're off on their own. So if they come to you for milk and you're in a panda suit, as far as they're concerned, you're mum and you're a panda.
It's not the first time the Chinese have released a panda back into the wild. But when they tried it once before, it ended in disaster. Xing Sheng was found dead less than a year after his release. It brought a premature end to the reintroduction program and sent reverberations throughout the conservation world. This time, it's going to be different. The pandas will be taken through several phases to prepare them for release.
It's the sunshine.
Yeah, so
It's
safe.
nice.
After 2 years, they will then be moved up the mountain to phase 2, still within a protected environment, but with no human interaction.
It's quite high. Steep.
Getting tired?
No, no.
When they are ready, the cubs will finally be released high up in the bamboo-rich mountaintops.
So, how high are we?
It's 2,000 meters.
2,000 metres.
Yeah,
And we're now in the bamboo.
yeah.
So, this kind of habitat is where you would look to release
Yeah.
the babies after the
Right.
training.
Right.
But there are wild pandas living
Mhm.
here just now.
Yeah.
So we're standing in the middle of panda habitat. You have how many babies training just now?
4.
4.
Mhm.
And how many of those would you hope to release?
3 or 4.
3 or 4
Yeah.
will go. But they're with their mother just now, yeah?
Mhm, right.
So how long will they stay with their mother?
Probably 2.
Probably 2.
Yeah, 2.
Pandas born here will one day roam free. And if Yang Guan and Chen Chen produce a female cub, she too may come here. For now, their new life at Edinburgh Zoo is just about to begin.
Good afternoon. Edinburgh Zoo has confirmed that the 2 giant pandas will arrive from China this Sunday. Tian Tian and Yang Guan will make the journey in perspex cages on board a specially chartered flight.
The big day has finally arrived. Head of animals from the zoo, Darren McGarry, has flown out to keep an eye on proceedings.
Obviously, we're really proud to be having them coming to Scotland, but also the UK as a whole.
It's the day that Ian Valentine, the man behind the complex deal, has been working towards for 5 years.
It's really quite exciting, and I'm really quite touched by the huge amount of effort that goes into doing something like this. I hadn't appreciated just the organisation that goes in for a departure ceremony. I know they're special animals, but I didn't actually understand the whole thing about the departure ceremony, so it's quite something.
With the eyes of the world's press upon them, everyone is feeling the pressure.
Quite nerve-wracking, actually.
We're quite nervous watching. There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, normally when you do something like that, you wouldn't have anybody around, so it's quite nerve-wracking.
But she's in the box, she's in the van, so that's good. We're relieved. We've got a sigh of relief.
One more to go.
Once both pandas are loaded up, the real fun begins. The leaving ceremony is a long-running tradition at Bifangxia.
I think it was all quite crazy, but it's done. It's been interesting, it's been fun, and on to the next bit, because it's still got a bit of a journey to do yet.
The pandas will be flying from Chengdu Airport in the southwest of China. Their crates must be kept stable. Pandas are precious cargo.
And well, they're still under the Chinese Panda Centre's responsibility just now, and then once they arrive in the UK and then they come to Edinburgh Zoo, then we're responsible for them, and once they're actually in Edinburgh. So we're excited for that time once they actually get there in Edinburgh. I'm really looking forward to it.
Even the crew are getting into the spirit of things.
We were asked to put on the dress of the Scottish FedEx colours. You will enjoy coming into Scotland in the appropriate garb to commemorate this important event.
We did not want, it took us a little while to get used to putting it on correctly, because we did not want to disrespect the Scottish.
Ian and Darren will check the pandas every half hour. It's a long time for pandas to be airborne. But with a jet this size, you can fly non-stop to Edinburgh in just 10.5 hours. That's why they call it the Panda Express. While the pandas are making their way to Edinburgh, the panda diplomacy is stepping up a gear. Scotland's First Minister Alex Salmond, keen to capitalise on the panda mania, is meeting with Vice Premier Lee in Beijing.
Can I say that your visit to Edinburgh is well remembered, Mr Vice Premier. Only the arrival of Teen and Yangguan has been more exciting for Scotland than your visit.
Alex Salmond is not the only political leader to grasp the status-enhancing effect of the giant panda. President Nixon was the first Western leader to recognise it. Quick to see the benefits, Edward Heath followed suit 2 years later. At first, the Chinese gave the pandas away as gifts, but it wasn't long before they realised their financial value. Pandas were in such demand, they started to charge enormous amounts, renting them out for fixed periods overseas. Chan Chan and Young Guan are on loan for 10 years, with a rental of around £600,000 per annum. It's a lot of money, but then there's never been a better time to be making friends with the Chinese. On the 4th of December 2011, Panda Mania reaches fever pitch when Chen Chen and Young Guan touch down at last on British soil. It's a major coup for the zoo and for Scotland. It's the moment everybody has been waiting for.
Oh, this is hugely special for Edinburgh Zoo, obviously, and it's a real accolade for their reputation in conservation. But it's also really important in terms of the relationship between Scotland and China. It's a hugely important relationship in terms of our economic prospects as well as culturally and diplomatically as well. So all in all, this is a great occasion for Scotland, and I'm delighted to be here today playing a part in it.
Back at the zoo, the crowds are going wild about pandas. As the flag-waving children outside celebrate their safe arrival,
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
behind the scenes there's tension. It seems Chan Chan may not have travelled well.
Make sure the metal shutter doesn't fall down. Okay. She looks okay, yeah, I think she'll be fine.
Once out of her crate, Chen Chen perks up.
Go back over to you guys.
Brilliant, first panda in. Feel much happier now. Just one more to go.
After almost 24 hours in transit, it's likely that young Guan will be jet-lagged and disorientated.
Do you want to call him? Professor Tan? Do you want to call him?
I'm here. That's good.
It's a huge relief to see him stretching his legs and settling in.
This is a new house. The first looking around, smell. Pandas, when they go to a new place, normally they take half hour, 1 hour to know the new place. Walking, looking around, smell, and then sitting down, starting to eat.
The journey's over, mission accomplished. And for Chief Exec Hugh Roberts, it's a moment to celebrate.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honoured guests. Tian Tian and Yang Guan are safely with us, and I hope now settling into their new surroundings. One usually says of a panda that he eats, shoots and leaves. In this case, he eats, shoots and arrives.
Both pandas appear in good form, but they'll need close monitoring for the next 48 hours.
Well, basically we've got 16 video cameras, CCTV, that goes around the whole building, so it looks at all of the panda areas where the pandas are housed. So we have these monitors in several of our offices. I've got one in my office, so basically I can sit and look at the cameras 24 hours a day if I wanted to.
After everything she's been through, Simon's keeping a close eye on Chen Chen.
Good girl. Hey? She's beautiful. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Hey? You're a good girl. It's all strange, isn't it? Obviously, what we're doing is we're checking very closely their droppings. Vets are obsessed with what comes out of an animal, so we spend an awful lot of our time digging through panda poo, amongst other things. But it's very important that we know that the consistency is right, because that tells us whether or not the feeding that we're doing is correct.
Will the bamboo that has travelled across Europe be to the fussy panda's taste?
These have been in storage and in transport for about 3 or 4 days. So I'm looking for how curled up the leaves are and just basically the general health of the bamboo. You can quite clearly see that even though this has been cut a few days ago, it's still really quite lovely, to be honest. It's not curled up at all, the leaves are fine. And so when we get this in the misting unit, this will just be lovely. And the misting unit will just hydrate the leaves again and keep it nice and fresh for the pandas.
Chen Chen and Yang Guan will munch their way through a staggering 70 kilos of this stuff a day. That's the weight of the average man.
A light snack.
The bamboo has passed the taste test. But what about Alison's panda cake? the proof is in the pudding.
Go. There we go. Professor Tang and the Chinese keeper basically saying this will be the test to see if they like your cooking. And they did, which was good. That's what I call a contented panda.
After sleeping off their jet lag, the pandas are finally ready to meet the public. It's the grand opening. The enclosure's ready for its unveiling, and the shop's now groaning with panda merchandise to tempt the public.
Anybody else's first time seeing a panda?
Everyone's eager to see the hottest couple in conservation for themselves.
First day of public viewing of the pandas, and we have a special man here to open them. He's the first man to board for 9:15.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if he's an expert at this.
I've never done this before, I've never read it. Where did it go? Just there?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll take that.
The first viewing is a sellout.
I'm delighted to answer any questions that you've got regarding pandas or the conservation that we're doing here for pandas. So if you'd like to
Pandas are going to be transformational for the zoo. It really does allow us to change our whole investment structure for the zoo so that we create something really right for the 21st century. The whole world of conservation, the whole world of zoos is constantly reinventing itself to be right for now and for the future, and this gives us an opportunity to be major players in that way.
The pandas hold their first British audience spellbound.
Fantastic. I can't believe your Christmas present.
Chen Chen and Yang Guan are bound to be a big success, but it's not all about making money. Research will now be carried out here that will help ensure the health and well-being of future generations of pandas. And there's the hope that one day the zoo will be blessed with a cub.
It's going to be, hugely significant if we can successfully breed an individual cub, not only because the two pandas that we have here within the panda population are genetically very important individuals, so any offspring that they produce is going to be also very important to the survival plan for pandas, and it will be another panda to add to the growing collection of pandas around the world that potentially could be released back into the wild.
Man's impact on the pandas' habitat threatened to wipe them out forever. But now, due to international collaborations like this one with Chen Chen and Yang Guan, combined with the expertise of the Chinese, pandas may one day thrive again in the wild.
Tomorrow night, the power of flowers and how they shaped our evolution. The second from our new series, How to Grow a Planet. That's tomorrow night at 9.